Today I'm going to see just how fast I can install a LokkLatch Deluxe by D&D Technologies. This is one of the world's most popular gate latches and it's made right here in Australia. It's easy to install, it's durable, it's reliable, it's a bloody ripper. So let's just see how fast I can get this installed, and if you're a fencer, I challenge you to beat my time, and if you know any fencers, make sure you tag them. All right, let's go. On your marks, get set, go.
So I'm going to start off with measuring where I want to install the LokkLatch Deluxe. I usually go about 900 mil to a metre high. Time to crack open the pack, get into all the goodies here. First I grab the backing of the latch mechanism. I'll just drill a 4mm hole in the centre here. This latch backing also acts as a template, so normally the little hole in the middle you use a pencil just to do a dot, but I actually like to use it as a guide for drilling as well, which you'll see in a moment. I'm just marking off the little side grooves there, which will help me be able to drill on the other side as well. I sort of got ahead of myself and started to go drilling, but I like to square the line off first, so that's all established. And then I can grab the template again and line everything up with those notches on the side, and then starting off with the 4mm drill bit, I just drill into the post, trying to keep my drill nice and plumb and level and get everything nice and centered. And then I come around to the other side, do the same again. These are just pre-drills because next we're going to use the 13mm drill bit to make a much wider hole. I waste a little bit of time getting this bit into the drill. I didn't open it wide enough.
Come on.
Now to widen the hole so that the push rod can go through the post nice and easy without interference. I like to set my drill on a slower setting. I find that it helps for a much smoother boring of the hole. Once I go a little bit more than halfway on one side, I just plop over to the other side and do the same again. The next step of the process is to cut our push rod down to size. This needs to be exactly the width of the post. So I like to clamp a flat edge to one side of the post, and then I can push the rod in through the hole from the rear. I then use a multi-tool flush against the post, and I just score a little line on two sides of the rod. I use the blades with the smaller teeth, not the big large serrated teeth. Now the rod's been scored, I'll just finish off the cut. Now you can also use a hacksaw for this process, but one thing not to use is something like pincers, because that'll just mangle the end. You want a nice flat cut here. Everything has to be nice and exact. I've still got a little bit of burring at the end of the rod, so I'm just going to use my knife here just to make sure that that's all gone. The LokkLatch Deluxe can be set up on the left or right side of the gate. Here I'm just setting up the push mechanism to the correct orientation. Then I insert the prong end of the push bar into the push button mechanism. Now I'm cracking into the packet of screws. I'll be searching for the 4 little silver screws. I'll need these to attach the backing of the latch mechanism, which is also the template that I used earlier to lay out the holes in the post. Need to also throw this back plate of the latch mechanism in the correct mounting position. You'll see here I'm all thumbs trying to get these little screws in. They're tiny little things, so it can be difficult. But I do find using one of these ratchet screwdrivers really handy. God, I love these things. Now that both parts are all set up, it's time to grab some screws, and I'm going to install the push mechanism first. So just need to stick the rod through the hole, behave yourself. Need to make sure that the front and the side of the mechanism is nice and flush up against the post. I have another little fumble over here when I lose my screw off the end of the drill bit, but that's okay. I quickly recover and just throw one into the hole first and then screw it in. Now instead of pre-drilling, I'm using the old trick where you throw the impact into reverse first and push into the hole. This creates like a little burr hole. It's an old school trick, so do a bit of reverse and then you can throw it back into forward and then screw in. Now here's where I have a little panic attack. I saw the second rod that you get in the packet. They always give you 2 rods just in case you mess one up. And I thought that I didn't put my rod into the push mechanism, but lo and behold, I did. What a knucklehead and a little bit of a waste of time.
Oh, what am I doing?
Now to shake it off and move on. When installing the latch mechanism, need to push the push button to expose the rod on the back, and then you can slip that through into the latch mechanism. Now to screw that into place, I only like to do 2 screws, one on the side and one on the front on both the mechanisms at first, and then I like to just make sure that everything works honky-dory before I put in the other 2 screws. So far so good. As you can see, it's a pretty simple process. The instructions that you get from D&D Technologies are really good as well, so nice and easy to follow. It's pretty easy to see why the LokkLatch Deluxe is so popular amongst fence contractors. That's the operational side all done and dusted. Now we just need to grab the latch bar and get that securely in place. Here I'm just going to set it up against the gate frame and just line it up to where I think it needs to go. I'll just hold that in place and then I can use the screws to screw it off. The holes where you screw off are cylindrical, so this allows you to give up and down movement for if you need to make any adjustments. So what I like to do is I actually like to screw a little bit higher into the cylindrical hole. This is because if the gate does happen to sag over time, you can then just back off the screws a little bit, lift the bar up into place and then secure it again. Here's another little time penalty for misplacing a couple of screws, but that's okay. We're on the final stretch now. These last couple of screws are going to go in and then the latch bar will be nice and secure. Now it's time to perform a function test. Make sure it locks and unlocks. You want to hear a clicking sound when you do that. And now to go over to the other side and perform the same test. Slip the key in, give it a little lock, a little push to make sure it doesn't open, unlock, push to make sure it opens. You beauty.
Time. Eight minutes and 43 seconds. That's what it took me to get this LokkLatch Deluxe installed. Now that time is definitely beatable. I fumbled around there. The time pressure really got to me. I forgot that I had already installed my rod. I thought that I hadn't, and I was trying to jam another rod inside. Oh, what a debacle. And then I couldn't find a couple of screws. That got me as well. But all in all, I'm pretty impressed with that time. I thought I'd get under 10 minutes. I didn't think I'd get under 9, so that's not too bad. So, are you up for the challenge? I would love to see you have a crack. Doesn't matter if you beat my time or not. It's all about just having a bit of fun. So if you do take up the challenge and make a video, make sure you tag me and use the hashtag LokkLatchChallenge. All right guys, thanks for watching.